feel so young. You make me feel like spring has sprung. And every time I see you grin, I am such a happy individual. The moment that you speak, I wanna go play hide and seek. I wanna go and bounce the moon like a toy balloon.
Welcome to Discovery Niagara. It was Labor Day weekend 1989, the last time you could have bought a ticket to ride the Comet here at Crystal Beach. A lot has changed since then. Today, young families, millennials, and even seniors have bought a place here in paradise to call home. And today we caught up with longtime resident Gary Pooler, who tells us about his experiences here in Crystal Beach growing up at the park and in the town.
That's what I was going to ask you. Say, how cool if you're a youth or a teenager and it's summertime and just ride your bike down to the amusement park.
Right.
I mean,
or the beach.
Or the beach.
Like I tell and you got all these great friends from the States.
Yeah.
They go away in the winter.
That's
but
right.
in the summer, they all come back and they all got cottages around here. And hey, how you been, man? And, they become lifelong friends. And but, yeah, I tell my boys nowadays, when I took them to Disney, and they're like, wow, this is great to ride. I said, guys, I grew up with one of these right at my doorstep, one of these amusement parks. And at one point, it was open admission. You could just walk into the park and hang out, have a sugar waffle, bum a ticket. Me and my buddies used to go over to the bus area where the people from the company picnics were leaving for the day to go back to Buffalo or Tonawanda. And we just stand there by the bus and say, you got any tickets left over? You can't use them anymore. And hold our hand out. We'd have a fistful of tickets back into the park, gorge on sugar waffles, or do a couple rides. Yeah, the initial draw for the actual founder, Mr. Rebstock, was the beach, the sand. Yeah. That's why he named it Crystal Beach. And then it just expanded from a religious retreat into a park with a few attractions, then a midway. And yeah, this is where it was happening. Here in Erie Beach, just down the lake. Right. They were considered like Buffalo's, playgrounds. I study and collect and research all kinds of local history. And our family had a farm in this area.
Morning.
Hi. See, we're friendly here in Crystal Beach.
Back in 1985, I was one of the food managers at the park. It was my job in the morning to mix up the sugar waffle batter for the day. They kept the recipe pretty secret. Park closed in 89. You couldn't get sugar waffles or anything from the park for a couple years. I had a small restaurant in Ridgeway, so we started making the sugar waffles there to see what would happen, and well, it went crazy. They came from Hamilton, Buffalo, just for the sugar waffles. They'd buy as many as we have. They'd walk in and say, how many bags do you have? We'll take them all. So I thought maybe we're onto something here, and we tried a couple small craft shows in the area. We couldn't keep up at those either. I thought, you know what, this is the way to go. We sold the restaurant, started Crystal Beach Candy Company back in 93 with just the sugar waffles. We kept bugging Bob Hall to sell the sucker equipment and the recipes. It had been in the family too long, didn't want to sell. This went on and on for about 7, 8, 9 years. Called him in 2001 in January. He says, you're pretty persistent, maybe we should meet.
Hey Scott, you got any historical stories for us? It was once called the Pines Restaurant, and this is where everybody kind of crawled or staggered to on Sunday mornings for breakfast after the big parties that I was telling you about earlier. This was Pop Mantell's pool hall.
Oh, okay.
So if you got sick of hanging out at the park or down at the beach, this was on the circuit. Okay, let's go down to the pool hall. And I had a friend that used to hustle the Americans for money, and he was really good at pool. A couple of friends actually that used to hustle guys for money in there. And I wasn't any good at pool, but I remember this was quite the cool place to hang out. Yeah. When I was a kid, the fun part was coming down here. This old, mysterious kind of guy ran a magic shop in that building over there. Oh, wow. You'd go in there, it was dark, he had black curtains, and he wore a dark suit, and he was kind of one of the remnants from Crystal Beach's heyday. A lot of entertainers and vaudeville performers would summer here, and a lot of them ended up staying here. And while I'm on that point, a lot of professional wrestlers lived in Crystal Beach too. in the off season. So I don't know if this guy was an old performer or whether, but he was very show busy, and he would do magic tricks and sell stuff out of this shop here.
Right here.
You could buy those hand buzzers,
Yeah.
itching powder,
Yeah.
stink bombs,
Stuff that
all
was
the things that teenagers like. The roller coaster there is the backety back. That's not the Cyclone or the Comet. That's the backety back. The car would start there. But this was the old Midway, and this track was in the Midway. This track here wasn't the one from the stadium. The one that later on Jesse Owens and them ran on was actually in the stadium. And I can remember as a teenager, high school runner, going to that stadium and searching for the track and finding the last remnants of the cement curb and the cinders of lane 1 on the one far turn. And I would go down there that summer. I must have done about 4 or 5 workouts on that, even though you could barely make out the track, but you were just absorbing the crowd that was there. And if you ever watch a movie called Race, it's about Jesse Owens and his struggles to get to Berlin and do what he did in front of Hitler. That movie, there's a scene in there. It's not shot here in Crystal Beach, but it's shot, the location is supposed to be Crystal Beach.
Neil Young, can I get your autograph?
Oh, sure. Who should I make it out to, Keith? I mean, and if you look straight down this road,
Yeah.
that's where the Comet was.
Oh, right down there.
Straight down on the water.
Derby and Erie Road. Derby Road, they used to call it, there's a name for it though.
Hot Dog Alley. This was called, Derby Road was called Hot Dog Alley. So this was the Ontario Hotel. It was a saloon, beer joint, had the men's room, just like in the old days, men's room, ladies and escorts room. As kids, we used to come down here to this side, get something, a box of French fries or whatever, and just wait for the place to close, the Ontario, because you knew half an hour after the place closed that the OPP would be arriving to grab people and drag them out, and we would just sit and wait for it's like a free ticket to the fights. Ted Cassie did a great job, but it never caught on. But a lot of these buildings you see around here, more so up here, have this Bavarian theme still to them, and that was all part of his dream to make this into a Bavarian village, and at least he was trying.
I miss the Comet Coaster, and actually it's down at Great Escape Park in Lake George, New York right now, and my kids were never able to go to the park. They weren't born yet, but we did go down when they were about 7, 8 years old. We spent a weekend down there, and we rode the Comet all day long. I'm talking 35 times in a row the first day, and probably as many the next day.
It was like the greatest place to be. Beach, fun, fast food, pool halls, I mean, parties, cottages. You couldn't beat it as far as growing up here as a kid.
You make me feel so young, baby. You make me feel so young.